If you haven't had an opportunity to watch The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 9, Squeeze. Stop listening now, Midge Spoilers. Here we go. I'm going to tell you right now, man. As a fan of The Walking Dead, this was the best writing that we've seen in a very long time, man. Now, I'm going to go into the good and then digress into an extreme rant, but I'll let you guys know ahead of time so that you can stop listening if you want to, or you can listen. Daryl and Carol finally got a moment to express all of the emotions, the feelings, everything that they have been going through. Obviously, since Rick died. Obviously, since the death of that little annoying character. But it was really, really cool, man, to kind of get to that bottom line and draw that line in the sand and say, listen, we can't continue going this way. And Daryl said straight up to Carol, he said, just don't bullshit me. Don't bullshit me. And I loved it, man. It was raw, it was authentic, it was deep, man. And you could tell like how Carol really, she kind of felt, man, like she really let down the entire team, man. Because the situation that they're in inside of this episode is that they're trapped inside of a whisperer cave, if you will. And at the bottom of the cave, which is probably like 30, maybe 40 feet drop, there is the horde of Alpha. You know, it's Alpha's collection of walkers. And I mean, you really can't see that much because Daryl, he lit this he lit this walker's hand, a chunk of his hand, and then threw it down. Lit it with fire, threw it down into the pit, and kind of all the walkers surrounded the fire and put it out. But there was probably like on screen at that moment, it was probably like maybe I'd say 150 to 300 walkers right there on screen. You could barely see them, you know what I'm saying, but it was a lot, and you could hear, them, gnashing and growling and grunting and doing all their walker noises and stuff, man. Carol, pretty much let Daryl know that, she's frustrated because Alpha killed her kid, and she wants to bring extreme pain to her. And I don't think anything's going to stop her, man. It really isn't. So, long story short, Carol and Daryl, they have the talk. Carol doesn't listen. They're almost out of the cave, and then Carol decides to, cause that harm, cause that pain, and she grabs this stick of dynamite and almost falls down to her death. Daryl's there to save her, and then there's an accident with the dynamite getting crushed. And this is where my rant's gonna go into it. So overall, the episode was good. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10 stars, just because of the entertainment factor, man. But here goes the rant, okay? So you can stop listening if you don't want to hear it. Here it is. This was the dumbest episode of The Walking Dead. Absolutely, completely a waste of time. Absolutely a completely waste of energy, a waste of screen time, a waste of an episode. It was stupid. Completely dumb. Dumb from the fact of seeing Alpha and Negan get their groove on. Yes, Negan had sexual relations with Alpha, and she kept her mask on. Another thing is that they did the cop-out method again that AMC loves to do. They're about to take the show to a next level as far as killing off a character that everybody loves, which they normally do. But it was a moment where it should have happened, and obviously I really, really do like this character, man. I thought he was a really great addition to Shazam, and I honestly thought that was the reason why AMC was going to kill him off at that moment, because I said, man, Shazam 2 is about to start filming, this, and obviously there's going to probably be Shazam 3 and, a new Justice League, and this dude's probably going to be a big part of that, so they're not going to keep him around. So anyway, long story short, they're inside of this cave. Let me show you what's going on. All right. So it's called Squeeze, man. So they're squeezing through this small area, trying to get all the dramatics and stuff. And then behind them on the floor is a couple of walkers. All right. Dead serious. You can't make this up, man. A couple of walkers just happen to, number one, sneak up on the entire team. Number two, not growl. not gnash the teeth, not make any noise, not knock over rocks. They're just the undead crawling in the same area, walking in the same area that you're at, and you can't hear them until they're right up on you. Doesn't make any sense. And here's the biggest thing that I had. When they're about to kill off this character, I think his name is Jerry, it might be Jerry. Anyway, I always call him the king's knight. He's the dude that always protects the king, you know, big fat Samoan dude. And remember back in the day when you're watching The Walking Dead, whenever some of the side characters would have interactions with the walkers, and a walker would grab their legs, he would grab their feet, their ankles, their thighs, the walker would rip into their skin. Well, that's what happened in this episode. He's sitting there crawling through this small space, trying to squeeze through. Number one, he's trying to squeeze through a small space with all of his gear on. Doesn't make any sense. Stupid as shit. Dumb. Retarded. Idiotic. Dumbest move that you could have possibly made in your entire life. And then all of a sudden, Daryl's like, take off your gear. And he's like, oh, that's a great idea. Dude, you're about to die. Then he's like, oh my God, I can't fit through. Oh, they're on my legs. And so you see the walkers grab this dude's legs on his shoes and stuff, and they start literally biting into his shoes, grabbing on the back where his ankles and his calf is at. Nothing happens to him. Nothing happens to him. Yeah. No cuts, no bruises, no nothing, no scrapes, nothing. I mean, not even a chunk of meat, nothing. So all of that time we spent about, I think it was probably about maybe 4.5 to 5 minutes just on that scene, watching him squeeze through these tight places and spaces, where the rest of the team, who are really skinny, they get through with pretty much with ease, but just a little bit of resistance, you know. And the entire time that he's back there, he's not looking back. Like, if you're sitting there crawling through that space, you're looking back, you're like, oh, dude, you know, you don't want to be in a situation to where somebody's going to walk up on you. This is unknown territory. And most importantly, you don't know if it's going to be a walker or if it's going to be a whisperer. So there's no way in hell that the last person, especially this guy who's always protecting the king, why are you not looking back there? And yeah, I understand you didn't have a light. Everybody had matches and stuff like that. And that was another thing too, man. Don't get me started. That's why I said this is a clear rant, man. They're sitting there using these matches, wasting time. I mean, they're trying to do, AMC was trying to do this like really dramatic effect, man. There's no walkers at all. You couldn't see any walkers. The only thing you could see is whisperers, and then they got killed within like 3 or 4 seconds once they popped up. But there was no walkers to be seen when you're passing and looking around with this match. So you light a match, and as you're looking around, I mean, they got these giant matchsticks, you know what I'm saying, from I don't know where, Costco or whatever. And it wasted so much material, man. And here's Daryl, he's sitting there with a goddamn torch. Why don't you pass them your torch, man? Why don't you what's the reason of like lighting a match and then holding it to your fingers until your fingers, you know, burn off? It just doesn't make any sense, man. It got me to the point where I just wanted to literally drop kick my TV, man. I wanted to just, seriously, man, I was just like, oh man, I can't believe this is happening, man. And you know, being an AMC Premiere, you know, member, I mean, yeah, it's cheap as mess. It's really cheap, but come on, man, we could do better than this, man, AMC. And here's the last thing I'll talk about. So we go into this mine, this cave that's been you know, unmanned, unused. It's an abandoned cave out in the middle of who knows where. The deaf girl, she picks up a actually no, it wasn't the deaf girl, it's the deaf girl's friend. She picks up a stick of dynamite. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, no matter who you are, no matter what age you are, you know that that's a no-go. Okay? Everybody has watched cartoons when they were growing up. And whether you watch the new age cartoons, whether you watch the old school Looney Tunes, you know. I mean, there was like warning signs. Every time that either Wile E. Coyote, it could be Bugs Bunny, you know what I'm saying? It could be Elmer Fudd, Daffy Duck, whatever. Every time that they picked up a stick of dynamite, it blew their goddamn hands off. And most importantly, throughout television history, ever since probably Lost, and everybody watched Lost, and then also you watch Smallville, and you watched Arrow, all these TV shows out here. And yes, I don't like Arrow, but it showed us a couple of times that when you're messing with explosives, it's dangerous. So she picks it up with her hand, okay, with her bare fingertips, her paws, grabs it, like, hey guys, here's some dynamite, here you go. And then the dude, I think Jerry or whatever, the King's Knight, he's like, listen, whatever you do, slowly put that dynamite back where you got it, because it's sweatier than I am, or something like that. That's some pretty good acting. But yeah, so the dynamite stick is completely drenched in sweat. All right, everything's pouring out that bad boy. It's very, very, very fragile. So she puts it back in there all nice and neat. Doesn't tell the rest of the group, like, hey, there's 15 more dynamite sticks over here, you know? So what ends up happening, man, is that there's an explosion. All right, so the cave starts to fall down because Carol had grabbed one of the dynamite sticks and she threw it down and tried to she tried to light the whole entire roof above her, or rocks, and make a landslide, like a rock slide down to where the Alpha's Whisper horde was at, and it failed. You know what I'm saying? So that dynamite stick, the one that she didn't light, that she didn't get a chance to light, it actually falls down where Alpha's walkers are at, her horde, and then all of a sudden it blows up. So another piece of boulder goes down and it hits the big giant case of dynamite, and it blows up and explodes. So now we have two characters from The Walking Dead that we don't know if they have lived or died. And if they survive this, I'm 100% done with the show. Seriously, man. At least with this season. I'm not going to review it anymore. I won't talk about it anymore. I take everything down off my Facebook page, all that stuff, man. I just can't support it anymore. It's ridiculous, man. It's almost the same way that the Westworld is turning right now. And I'm not even going to talk about that. I'll talk about that in another video. The new trailer, absolutely terrible, ridiculously stupid. And now we have to put up with Aaron Paul, the dude off of Breaking Bad. So now we got to look at his giant head with a little bit of hair on top. Dude, stop. Anyway, so Daryl, at the end of the episode, he's sitting there trying to grab the rocks off the top of this cave-in, and he's crying like crazy, man, because his girlfriend, the deaf girl's down there with the other chick, with the tattooed chick. And so now those two, and those were like the best two new characters that they had on The Walking Dead, Well, that's what we get, man, for kind of caring about these characters, because AMC just doesn't, I don't know, man, they don't know what they're doing. They do whatever they want to do, man. And that's what's so sad about The Walking Dead. It's like, dude, you have the possibility of heading into season 11. You have the possibility of heading into season 12, but you can't get it together, man, and I don't understand why. Anyway, guys, that's my rant, man. That's my review of this episode. Definitely an enjoyable episode because there was different factors into it. AMC is definitely trying, but it's the writers, man. It has to be the writers. It's like they'll do really, really great at the beginning of the episode, and then everything just goes to shit. So, anyway, man, I'm out of here. Take it easy, guys.